Hello folks, my name is Mia, and today I'll be bringing you the first episode of AEW. And isn't it apropos that we start here in June 2020? The 1 year mark of AEW was on May 25th, so it seems like this is a good place to start. We're of course 1 year into real life AEW, and we have our beautiful roster here. Let's just take a look at our huge stars, our major stars here. We have Cody, Chris Jericho, Jim Ross, who, I don't know if you call him a major star at this point. Hey, I didn't make the mod. But shoutouts to Questlove for making the mod, of course. 81 announcing there. We got Moxley, Omega. Some of the stats in here are still a little wonky, but Questlove has done a great job working on this. As we move on to stars, we have Adam Page, Broken Matt Hardy, the Young Bucks, MJF, Pac. Then we move into our well-knowns, where we have Arn Anderson, we have Cage, Cash Wheeler, Christopher Daniels, Darby Allin, Dax Hardwood, DDP, Jake Hager, Jake Roberts, Lance Archer, Mr. Brody Lee, and the legend himself, the Sloth Man, Orange Cassidy. Our recognizables include Angelico, Awesome Kong, Billy, Brandy, Britt Baker, DMD, who is injured now, which is really unfortunate. She was starting to hit her stride. We have Chucky T, Colt Cabana, Dean Malenko as a road agent, Dustin Rhodes, Earl Hebner, our ref, Evil Uno, Frankie Kazarian, Hikaru Shida, Joey Janela, Jungle Boy, Chris Statlander, Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt, Nyla Rose, Ortiz, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, Sammy Guevara, Santana, Scorpio Sky, Sean Spears, Taz, Tony Schiavone, Trent, and Wardlow. Now, this picture pack, of course, is on the GDS forums. If you're watching this and are familiar with that, you're more than welcome to download that if you'd like. So we have Marvez, Reynolds, Anna Jay, Aubrey Edwards, Austin Gunn, B. Priestley, Big Swole, Brandon Cutler, Bryce Remsburg, Sema, Dasha Gonzalez, El Lindemann, Emi Sakura, Excalibur, Isaiah Cassidy, Jack Evans, Jerry Lynn, Jimmy Havoc, John Silver, Kip Sabian, Leva Bates, Luther, Mark Ken, Mel, Michael Nakazawa, God help us, Mike Posey, Paul Turner, Penelope Ford, Peter Avalon, Pineapple Pete, good for Sugar Dunkerton, QT Marshall, Rick Knox, Riho, Sadie Gibbs, Shanna, Sunny Kiss, Stu Grayson, The Blade, The Bunny, The Butcher, Tomahawk TT, who I'm probably going to rename T-Hawk later, Tony Khan, Tully Blanchard, and Yuka Sakazaki. The reason I went and named these names is because I want you to be familiar with these folks, because they're going to be the majority of our roster going forward. I don't plan to drain any swamps this time. So we will have the AEW TNT title is Cody. The Women's World title is Hikaru Shida. We have Jon Moxley, of course, the World Champion. And the World Tag Team Champions are still Adam Page and Kenny Omega. So the way I'm going to do storylines is going to be a little different than I usually would do them. So we're going to have our main eventers. So these are guys who I see as the guys who can carry the company on their backs if they need to. They're going to be the ones that get probably the biggest pushes going forward. And Cody and Kenny Omega are, of course, the first two in that. We're going to have the women's roster, which I'm going to stick all the women into one category. I know that that's not, the most PC way to do it. But my thought process is that this way we can keep all the women organized. And every time we book a women's match, it will advance the storyline. Now, of course, we want these to be wrestlers and, not referees. So let me just add these women in here. I did a lot of the background work, but with this one, I wanted to make sure that we did this on camera because, like I said, I want you to be familiar with the workers, especially if you start to watch this series at all times, because in that case, you're going to want to make sure that you know exactly what's going on when it's going on. So as we add Sadie Gibbs, Shanna, the Bunny, and Yuka Sakazaki to the storyline. So there's all our women. And then we'll add our mid-carders, These are guys who I feel like would be best suited for TNT title runs. I know that Orange Cassidy isn't he's very popular, but I want to build him a little more before I move him up into the main storyline. It's going to be the same way with Darby Allin. So those two I would define as mid-carders for me right now. Jobbers, I'm going to be honest, there's some people that you're not going to see get pushes here. I know that it's not the most popular way to do it, but I mean, Michael Nakazawa, for instance, I just don't have a lot of ideas for him yet. Or well, really it's mostly Michael Nakazawa. Luther should be here. You know what? No, we're not going to have jobbers. I changed my mind on that. I know that probably isn't the best idea. But what about tag team specialists? These are guys who they're best in the tag team division at the moment. Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson. I think that it will be interesting to see how this ends up going. We're going to put Adam Page in as a supporting role, mainly because Kenny Omega, we probably want to actually edit Kenny Omega's thing as far as that goes, because I want to make sure that Kenny Omega is added as a supporting role. Even though he is tag team champion, he is also a main eventer. So there's some oddities going on as far as this goes. What in the world? Okay, let's remove Kenny Omega for now, and we'll get there. Main eventers, let's go Cody. Jericho, obviously, we'll want to add. I'm a little stuck on Broken Matt Hardy. I think we'll probably put him in there for now, but he may move out of that picture eventually. That's the thing. There's not a lot of big, I would say, main event names right now with AEW. Obviously, Moxley needs to be in here. Tag team specialists, we probably want Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy for now. I do eventually plan to move Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus into the mid-card and main event pictures respectively, but we just haven't quite gotten to that point yet where they're ready for that, I feel. So when they are, I'll definitely move them there. We should probably throw SCU in here, and by SCU I mean Daniels and Kazarian. I think Scorpio Sky probably belongs in the mid-card for now because he is such a good talent. But if I can also add him here in the tag team specialists, I definitely will. It looks like it's not going to let me. Ortiz and Santana, we want to make sure are in here. Shawn Spears, I'm putting in the mid-card. I'm not a big fan of Shawn Spears at all right now. He's just not got a lot of momentum going on. Let's put Sammy Guevara in here. That's a guy I'm really high on. I want to push him hard. Let's put Pac in the main event. Let's put MJF in the main event because, again, he belongs there. I guess if Kenny Omega is going to be complicated, we'll just have to stick him in the tag division for now, I guess. The Blade and the Butcher I want to go ahead and add in here. Because, honestly, this is about all I could see them doing on my roster as of right now. Although, that could definitely change. El Lindemann and Tom Hawk TT are going to be in here. And this is going to mainly be a setup episode. And then we'll book the first show here soon. I just want to make sure that we have everyone basically set up where they need to be. So as we add Cash and Dax, obviously there's a lot of excitement behind them. Let me make sure that male wrestlers. Let's add Brian Cage. We'll get there. Let's put Colt Cabana in here and let's stick Brian Cage here. in the main event. And then we can mess with that a little more later. I might mess with that off screen. So let's go ahead and advance as far as we can here. We're going to try to go over to AEW Dark. I will be auto booking the B show because I'm not, I don't feel the need to book both the A show and the B show. But I may have some guests come on and book AEW Dark, so stay tuned for that. Shout outs to my friends Brian Mallon, Nate Faber, Zach Zero, who helped me set this up. Y'all are the real MVPs here. This is still something I'm trying to learn. I've done a lot of broadcasting in the past, but I'm not great at the technical part despite working IT, ironically. I probably could have Googled how to set it up, but I was lazy, so Zach helped me do it. So shout outs to him, as well as Nate. Once this loads, and it looks like it's going to load pretty quickly for us, as my Google seems to have turned itself on. I guess Nyla Rose might go to NWA, so that's kind of cool. I had a save the other day where Nyla Rose started dating Scorpio Sky. That was, as a trans woman, that was really kind of cool to see because I just didn't see it coming. So we're going to move on through here, and we're going to move on to our first AEW show. Hopefully we'll be able to get something good out of AEW Dark. I mean, I don't have a lot of hope for it, but we'll go from there. So it looks like it's advanced. Anything interesting going on? Oh, the Psycho Circus died. That's sad. Moose is injured. You'll notice that I haven't made a lot of signings yet. That's because I don't really see the need for them yet. We do have a backstage incident. QT Marshall has passed on tips on selling to Anna J. Probably good, because Anna J is one of those that I stuck in the Performance Center because I wasn't sure she was quite ready. Let's see if we can make her a friend. Nope, that didn't work. So we're going to go ahead and, for our first show, we're going to select a generic venue in the Southeast, and let's do it AEW Dark. Well, we're auto-booking AEW Dark, my bad. So book whole show. Auto-booker's still not perfect, but, beggars can't be choosers. So Wardlow and the Super Bad Death Squad defeat Colt Cabana and the Private Party. We get an angle with the Best Friends and the Hybrid 2. Best Friends defeat the Hybrid 2. Arn Anderson has an angle. Christopher Daniels also has an angle. Orange Cassidy has an angle. Thanks, Auto Booker. The Jurassic Express defeat the Dark Order. Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus, of course, representing the Jurassic Express. And Lance Archer, has an angle to end the show. Now, we did have 2 pre-show matches. Nyla defeated Shanna, and Joey Janela defeated Seema. But I didn't feel like they were super relevant, so I was like, okay, we can probably skip over those. But then I realized, hey, maybe it'd be a good idea to look at that, so I don't know, it'd be like that. So our world champion, of course, is Jon Moxley. I feel like he and Chris Jericho probably should be the first couple people to do something. We don't have an on-air authority figure. I want to change that eventually, but we'll probably decide that pretty soon. So Moxley and Jericho are basically going to speak about their match that will be happening at Fyter Fest. I want Jericho and Moxley to be our first title feud. I know it's happened. I know there are going to be some people that criticize me about it. But these two are 2 of the best mic workers in the company. Realistically speaking, we need a good first attention grabber, if that makes sense. So then, let's open it up with a triple threat tag team match, just to test out our teams, see what we can get. We don't want Adam Page and Kenny Omega, but FTR, you can figure out what that stands for on your own time. Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, and let's throw the Private Party in here. Let's see what these 3 teams can do against each other if given the chance. So there's that, and then let's do another match. A one-on-one. Let's go with Mr. Brody Lee getting a chance against a face. And this is kind of why I wanted a jobber division, because Mr. Brody Lee is going to kick the living crap out of Austin Gunn. Hopefully Brody Lee is generous enough to not be a jerk about it. Austin Gunn dominating would be a mistake, so probably shouldn't do that. So let's book this. Then after this, I want Mr. Brody Lee to cut a promo on the mic about how his Dark Order will be taking over AEW. And I feel like that could be fun. See what we can do with Dark Order, kind of go from there. And then want to have a little fun angle between Colt Cabana and Pineapple Pete. Why is he named Pineapple Pete? I don't get it. If somebody could let me in on the joke, that'd be cool. Pineapple Pete's gonna give Cabana a pineapple. I mean, AEW's got some comedy to it. I'm not the best at comedy. That's kind of why I want to bring on some guests to do some of that comedy when we get there. So one of the hallmarks of AEW has been them giving young talent a chance. So let's go with Darby Allin getting a match one-on-one against who we need a good young talented heel. You know what? Let's see what happens. Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin. I'll give you two a match and see what you can do. Can you call it in the ring yet, Sammy? 53 psych. I want to know why Fleisch had such a thing against Sammy Guevara. Like, Lee. That always baffled me. So then we're going to have Cody announce that tonight he will be having an open challenge. This is realistic, obviously. Cody wants to defend his TNT title every week, so let's just see who Cody's opponent is this week. We have Cody, and we have his opponent, Wardlow. Why Wardlow? Because Wardlow is a guy who's going to need some time. I don't think that he's quite ready to be a world champion yet, or even a TNT champion. But it does give Wardlow a big match, which later on will matter down the line. It may help him depending on how Cody makes him look. But after this, I want to have Pac come out and attack Cody. Because Pac isn't going to wait his turn. Pac's just going to come out and jump Cody. My reasoning behind this is that this will be a really good match. It should give us, good ratings. I don't know if I want to have the blow-off match next week, especially since the TNT title has to be defended every week. But I do think that it's a good start, so. And then in our main event of the evening, let's see Kenny Omega in action against Kenny Omega against. There's a lot of guys on this roster that I just don't want to ruin right away, and that's the thing. Like, whoever takes this first loss to Kenny Omega, it may not go super well. Oh, Phoenix and... What? Why is Pentagon face and Phoenix heel? That was an oversight by the mod. So what we'll do is I'm going to turn Pentagon heel here shortly. And I know Pentagon can call it in the ring. He's a seasoned veteran. Yeah, every mod lets him call it in the ring usually. So I want that to be the main event. Obviously, we know Kenny's really good. So it should definitely benefit Kenny going forward. So then let's go to Pentagon. We're flipping him heel. There's no reason at all that Pentagon should even be considered a face in this case. Also, I'm going to bump Wardlow and Cody up a little to 18 minutes. Wardlow can't do it. That's unfortunate. What about FTR, SCU, and Private Party, and then we make this a slow build? That could definitely benefit those three teams. It would give them time to perform. Alright, yes. And then Hangman's going to come out and celebrate with Omega the victory. I'm sorry about my misspellings, by the way. This is the first episode. Hopefully we can crank out a few more by the end of the week. My goal is to try to have one a day. We'll see how that goes. I also didn't book the women. I realize that now. So maybe what I want to do is move Brody Lee and Austin Gunn to the pre-show. And then they can still cut their weird promo. Then I want to put the women in action because this is AEW. We have to have one women's match a show. So let's throw in Hikaru Shida and Ryoho versus Emi Sakura and Nyla Rose. There we go. And then let's move this up here. Wait, hold on. Let's make this a pre-show angle, just because like it's allows me to honestly easily finish the show. So, all right, let's start it off. Brody Lee defeats Austin Gunn. No big surprise. A little bit surprising that it was a pile driver. Then Brody says the Dark Order will be dominating AEW going forward. Then we move on to our main card. We get Moxley and Jericho cutting a promo, a 100. That is nice, I won't lie. It's a good way to start. That's why I wanted these two on the mic. Then FTR defeats SCU in the Private Party. Then we get Hikaru Shida and Riho defeating Emi and Nyla Rose. No injuries yet. Things have been pretty smooth. Colt Cabana and Pineapple Pete have a comedy angle. Why not? Then Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin put on a heck of a match. Look at that. That's a 75. We needed that. That is why I want these two as my future. Then we get Cody giving an open challenge for the TNT title. Cody defeats Wardlow in actually a really good match. Then Pac jumps Cody and throws him into the steel steps. Still used to calling him Adrian Neville, so it's a bit of a yikes. Then Kenny Omega defeats Pentagon in our main event tonight. And Hangman and Omega celebrate together for the fans to finish off the show. We get a plus 24. I guess our boys, the Private Party, were used too much. Quite frankly, I don't care. We needed them. So that finishes off the first week of this show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you didn't get tired of my yammering on about like, oh, well, we got to set up all the divisions and all the workers, but I wanted to make sure that you guys knew kind of how I wanted to set this up, because this show sets the stage. This episode sets the stage for the rest. This is the beginning of the new era of AEW. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good rest of your day.